Muy buen día, ¿cómo están? Sean muy bienvenidos, me da muchísimo gusto recibirlos el día de hoy en una más de nuestras entrevistas exclusivas bajo la temática de Expert Views. El día de hoy me voy a confesar, un poco nerviosa por la figura que tenemos con nosotros el día de hoy. Se las voy a presentar antes de dar paso a esta gran entrevista. Nos acompaña el día de hoy Adriana Rodríguez, fundadora y coordinadora de todo este proyecto y esta comunidad de Empodérate, tú puedes. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos y vamos a pasar a presentar a nuestra invitada del día de hoy. Su nombre es Nancy Nemes y se las voy a presentar en inglés, ya que nuestra entrevista del día de hoy, como las anteriores, también va a ser en inglés para darle más fluidez. Y so I'm going to start presenting you, Nancy. Be very welcome. And I'm going to talk about her. She's a prominent woman in the world of artificial intelligence. She's a top technology business executive, author, investor, and philanthropist. She's the founder of the startups Mrs. AI and Humanize, the managing director at Nemes Ventures, a member of Mujer Kreis, a judge for artificial intelligence at MIT for Europe, and strategic advisor to the public and private sector. Her optimistic realism about technology derives from her hands-on experience of over 20 years in high-tech companies. She has received numerous awards. Most recently, Inspiring 50 named her one of the most inspiring women in European technology. She's a respected speaker and a contributor to podcasts, workshops, webinars, and textbooks on digitalization. So Nancy, be very welcome today. How are you? How are you, Adriana?
I'm doing fine. I'm so happy and honored to have Mrs. AI, Nancy, with us.
Buenas tardes, buenos días. Muchísimas gracias. Estoy encantada, encantadísima. Y es un gran placer hablar con ustedes hoy. And then we will switch to English. I'm so happy to be here.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias, Nancy.
El acento es divino, ¿eh?
Thank you for having me. So excited.
Okay, thank you so much. So, I would like to begin by asking you a question, Nancy. What is the greatest artificial intelligence achievement of your life?
Ooh, I love it. A great question. You know, I love you ask me questions because usually I ask questions about AI. And many times you have your own opinions and you keep thinking about these things are evolving all the time. But I would say currently the greatest achievement for me is really the creation of Miss AI and Humanize. I worked on the technical part of it. I did support. I'm not a technical person per se. I'm a business person, but I helped support the creation of devices, software, also the marketing and sales of these. But I believe in artificial intelligence, the most important thing today is to ensure we have diversity and inclusion in the largest sense of the word. And therefore, my biggest achievement is the creation of Miss AI and the amazing echo, all the people who wanted to join, all the people who are supporting. We have a big vision. We want to, and actually it's a mission basically, we want to reach 10 million women with AI in Europe in 5 years. That would be by end of 2023, because we started last year. And in order to reach 10 million women, we have to reach 20 million humans of all genders, because female makes about half of the society. And we already reached about 500,000 in this community. Wow. So that's a big achievement, I would say, for all of us, not just me.
Yes. Well, and, Adriana, go ahead.
No, no, no. I just want to say, I hope that you can add a little bit more so you can not expand it to Latin women as well. And that's why we wanted to have this conversation with you as well, to also embrace Latin women as well.
I'd love it. I want it. I need it. We have great diversity. We don't have enough outreach right now in Latin America. So it would be amazing to have your support and your audience support to really join Miss AI and help us achieve this big mission.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
that will be great. Let me talk you a little bit, share a little bit about our organization, Nancy. We gather like Spanish-speaking women and men all over Mexico and 18 different countries now. We have different how do you say, teams all over the countries, and we work so hard in empower people through digital transformation. So that's why you're participating today is so important for us. And I would like to ask you another question before leaving you with Adriana Rodriguez. And it's, what is your greatest fear about AI?
I love it. It almost sounds like AI should be fearful. I don't have any fear really about AI. I am one of the proponents of humans create machines and not the other way around. Also, humans collaborate with machines. So I'm not afraid. I'm only afraid about our own bias and afraid of not addressing it. So this technology could do harm if we do not address key areas within this very famous, bias in algorithms. There are famous examples about that happened, that excluded specific populations of people. So that would be for me a very big point where we need leadership to ensure that that doesn't happen, but we should embrace this as a technology without fear. So in my opinion, it should be embrace it with a positive mindset, with optimism for what it can do for humanity and for the human being. Each one of us can benefit, and let's work together across the public sector, governments, politicians, policy makers, and the business sector, and of course the technical sector, people who create the products, to make it useful and responsible. And so therefore we don't need fear, we need optimism.
Okay, that's a great way to see it. Also, we share it. So,
yeah,
Adriana?
But it's a great question. It's the right question to ask.
No, thank you so much, Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, it is my turn. I think you know how much fond I am of artificial intelligence. I think it's pretty cool. We have, you and I experienced Cortana. Some of us have experienced Alexia. When are we going to experience Nancy?
Oh, I love it. I'm human intelligence. You experience right now. Right now, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to be happy. And maybe I hope I won't be sad during our conversation. It depends on the questions, right? But yeah, let's experience humanity as in the moment. Carpe diem.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. You know, I always start the dialogue with some simple, easy question just to get to know you a little bit. So I'm going to ask just very, very tiny, small questions. You know, what would you prefer to have a customer algorithm that knows your preference, or that you and select a movie for you, or do you prefer to select it yourself?
I like recommendation engines. So, I like recommendations because many times we don't know about all the opportunities that are out there. But with that comes difficulty, because the algorithm only knows what I've done until now, what I searched, what I did. So maybe sometimes the right recommendation is not in there. So for me, it's really a bit of a combination. I like a recommendation engine, so an automatic way of doing it. But I also lay a lot on human interaction, and what my friends tell me, this is great, and I'll try it probably.
Okay, let's try the second nice question. You know, when we are mobile and we go everywhere, our phones knows where we are. Would you like to be all the time known where you are in the world, or would you prefer just to switch that off and you have your freedom?
Super intelligent question. I love it. I actually can switch off any way I want. I do like the commodity, like the easiness of finding my way immediately. I still remember the times when we didn't have products like Google Maps or Here Maps or any of these right ways. So I would prefer to have the products, but I can switch them off anytime I want. And this is what I want everyone to know. Everyone can switch off, but also remember you switch off the benefits too. So.
Absolutely. Okay, the last question. Will you prefer the help of self-planning from an artificial intelligence, or will you prefer to do it manually by yourself?
Oh, no. So no manual. I'm tired of manual tasks, and I think that's the biggest opportunity with AI, to take away that tedious task of manual, repetitive tasks from humans. So for me, it's all about automate as much as you can, because there is still enough space for human creativity and innovation.
Perfect. Okay, then let's start our subject. Yeah. I invite you to talk about artificial intelligence and leadership. What do you think about leadership and artificial intelligence? What comes to your mind, top of your head, top of mind about that? Just like this, before we go deeper and deeper.
Yeah. So I think leadership is really needed. First of all, we need leadership. People are a little bit confused right now. Where to start? Should I do it? Does it bring something to the bottom line of my business? So I think to drive AI adoption and to support business objectives, we absolutely need leadership to make it top of mind at the senior executive level, and then of course from there to drive it all around in the organization.
Absolutely. I you know, we are seeing that the new digital era, the investment is on artificial intelligence, and the ROI is always on an artificial intelligence and BA. But what about leadership in this ROI? What do you think about that?
Well, that's really important, right? At the end of the day, you should not start AI just for the sake of it. I mean, yeah, you can do a pilot, you can try something out, but I tend to distinguish between two categories of companies: those that are real AI companies who, use AI to exist, and so for them, AI is a very clear case with very clear ROI. And then there are the more traditional industries that would benefit from adopting AI and would basically really need to come up with a very clear direction. And that is really setting up their strategy. And I think for that, they truly need to take an enterprise-wide view on AI, and then really set the direction first. And ROI is part of it, but it should also be beyond numbers. It should go into what does it solve for people, for humans, and then the ROI will come with that. Just as easy as, when Google Maps was created, it was clearly a case of people just wanting to serve a need, and then it became a product.
Okay. So for me, leadership, it is about inspiring people. It is about leading by example. It is about taking care of your people. Yes. But I think now, when we include artificial intelligence, it's also about how to make the best decisions between these new groups of humans and artificial intelligence competing with other humans and artificial intelligence. Where do you see that for a leader like us here in this virtual room, or in any of the multinationals? Where do you see leaderships having that good decision? Because I can say, one of my teams will come and say, my artificial intelligence plus my humans are saying we have to invest in logistics. And I go and see to my other groups, and my other group is saying, no, we have to invest in marketing. And my other group might be saying, no, you are all wrong. You know, we might have to invest in, in production. Where is leadership in here takes the lead, you know? Where do we have the best advantages and the best choices for the company, the teams, and investors?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. And I just want to address your first when you introduced and said, for me, leadership is about people and inspiration. And that's the reason why it's about humanizing technology. It's really about, even when you make a car, it should serve people. That's why the car makers put so much thought process into the design factor, right? So in terms of, how do we make that useful? How do we humanize technology? But also, what leadership areas should we focus on? I think in particular for AI, what I see today, and so we basically see a lot of, one of the biggest issues right now is that companies have a lack of strategy, and that leads to what you exactly described. They don't know, everyone thinks, let's start in my department. But as leaders, we have to, first of all, the senior leadership should take an enterprise-wide view on AI, and then really set up the direction on how to adapt to these, because these will be disruptive technologies, right? So we have to come up with this clear AI strategy, which should have a long-term and a short-term perspective on AI. So for example, if you consider how can this technology change business models, right? But also focus on the near-term opportunities, for example, to improve internal efficiency or to improve the customer experience, right? You could do a chatbot if you're a bank, or you're, even if you're a doctor, with this COVID response right now, you can see a lot of the telemedicine going much faster, and you see chatbot implementation goes much, much faster. So how can you do that on the near term to address immediate needs? And so one example is this tracing app, which some countries are still debating, should we do it or not? And other countries are already implementing it. And many times you will find the smaller countries be more agile and quicker in implementation, right? So we should build these AI solutions in a scalable and reusable manner. That's very important, because what we build needs to be reused throughout the company, and also have all these business units and functions. So that would be the first thing I would look at. And then I would look at developing ecosystems with external partners, because in that setting, you would have the opportunity to see how your solutions benefit the whole ecosystem of partners, customers, agencies you may work with, right? And as you do that, I think a very important thing is to have a huge focus, a laser focus on cybersecurity, on information security, on data privacy, right? Because these are all crucial for AI strategy. So when you look at these assessments, and when your department say, start here, start there, you really need to look at what's the benefit for the whole organization, and then you evolve your plans. And you may start with a pilot in one org. Let's say you do a quick chatbot somewhere, but you know that this is your short term and you need a long-term perspective.
Okay, let's go a little bit deeper.
Right.
I'm going to go back to leadership. Leadership is also about allowing everybody to have a voice. Yes?
Yes.
How do we give a voice to artificial intelligence?
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it has already, Alexa.
Yes, but more about Alexa still works in commands, but how do we give that voice that it really tells you, okay, this is where humans are capable of doing great things, yes, and we as a leader leading, we have to give a voice to to the artificial intelligence and the business analytics, because as you say, we are in disruption. And when do we just allow the voice of artificial intelligence to come up to help us to go further in the business?
Right, right. And that's really a great question, because really what you want to do here is, you know, I was joking, of course, with that sentence, but you want to really make sure you have the right mindset in your organization. And as we know, there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a bit of fear, you know, to Paula's question at the beginning, what people are afraid of robots taking over jobs, or, you know, people start to use these science fiction scenarios as maybe this is how my life will change, which is not true, right? But we need to change that mindset. And I think your voice is coming through the mindset change. And it's not easy, because using disruptive technologies means we are all of a sudden telling people, whatever you did until now, you need to change. And what do humans hate first? Change, right? Especially proven methods, especially, oh, we did it this way, it worked, why would I change? But a pandemic like this, and I think that there lies this opportunity in the big challenge we're just going through, is that because of the pandemic, we are seeing that change is needed. You know, you can see in the healthcare system, some countries did better than others. Those some hospitals were better equipped than others. So that's all related to how do you actually give voice to change and disruption. And we call it artificial intelligence for this talk, but it's the same if you change digital processes. It's the same if you want to transform the way you look at a business. So you really need to take that into account. What kind of cultural shift you need to make in your organization, which is, of course, the hardest thing to do, right? So for me, the human nature being the first to resist to change. And so then we absolutely, even when we feel we don't really understand things, you know, we don't even need it, and we're not really in control of this, that leads to that whole fear. And then the question is, how can we instill a new mindset change? And for that, I would say you really have to start with evangelizing what the technology is, educating people. It is just technology. It is human-made. Of course, it's machine learning, you know, is a tool. And of course, machines can develop self-learning. We advance in this technology very quickly. But on the other side, humans are still in control and should be in control.
I agree. You know, right? Many years ago, before our time, even our grandparents, electricity came to this world. Yeah. Now electricity, we take it for granted. And you know, when I'm in my summer house and the electricity goes, I have a major mess. Everything stops. You know, besides the fridge, also the computers and all our lives. Yeah. But for me, let's go one level lower. Artificial intelligence for me is the new norm. It's like before electricity, now artificial intelligence is the new norm. It is here. It is here to stay, and it's gonna evolve, and it gets better. So as artificial intelligence increases, changes the way we live and the choices we made, who's benefiting from this AI? And I'm gonna take it back to our group, EMPODÉRATE, Puedes, all the Latin communities. How do we proactively can bring them into the picture? Because as artificial intelligence is the new norm, what would you recommend us? And again, leadership in here is inclusion of the Latin community.
Yeah. This is such a great question, because in a way we use artificial intelligence every day. You gave some great examples. You know, you spoke about, you know, having using your smartphone. Anytime you use a smartphone, to find your way from A to B, that is a product. Google Maps, a product powered by artificial intelligence, right? There are all GPS tracking. There is all the algorithms in the background. You know, it makes recommendations for you which way to take. Okay. So the same is with your voice assistants. Anything you do using your voice, that's also artificial intelligence. The way we assemble cars to get to today, that's robotics, is part of artificial intelligence. The way surgeons perform surgeries using a huge advanced surgery computer that's called Da Vinci, for example, which is capable of making micro surgery that even the human eye cannot do with the same precision. This is also powered by artificial intelligence, but the militaries is using AI. I mean, the farmers are using AI in agriculture to understand how to manage their crops and how to dose, for example, their chemicals, pesticides, whatever they use, or natural ingredients to increase production of their farming products, right? So all of these are use cases that exist today, and your question is who benefits from AI?
Exactly.
And you know, so right, so and I go back again to the human benefits from AI, because it can expand. As we see these applications, there are limitless uses of AI, and I'm sure we will see a lot more coming out, right? So the other day I saw somebody was launching an app. I think a friend of mine posted this on Facebook. It was hilarious. So somebody just launched an app. I don't know what kind of algorithms is powering whatever, but what they said is, oh, you are doing all this work from home today. You need to digitalize the way you work, and you sit there in your home office alone. Listen, we are going to send you a goat. We're going to send you a goat, a real goat, to help you, and it makes a lot of sense. So this is just a very creative way of thinking about how the work is transforming because of these technologies as well. So for me, it's really, AI will help expand, as we know, the human creativity, the human ingenuity. It will help us handle all these repetitive, ugly tasks we don't want to do. It can also be, and it shows now, it needs to be the next generation disaster response. We could have handled COVID in an easier way, more efficiently, if we would have had the tools already. Okay, good learning, we're working on it, right? We automate processes, we provide better weather forecasts, and so much more. So it really is here to support humans and not harm them. And we need to take everyone with this. That's why your initiative and our initiative and many others need to work together to bring this to everyone. So I'm giving these examples because I want everyone who's listening or watching us now to see the very different use cases, and that everyone can contribute. And I think it's up to me as an individual to say, I want to be part of this. First, I want to understand what it is. And second, maybe there is something for me to do in it. And the reason why I created Miss AI, and it's called Miss AI, but we have minimum 30% men in Miss AI. Why? Because I wanted to have 70% women, because women are classically underrepresented in the technology space, and in AI we have less than 5% women in real life. But I wanted to show that with the right focus and the right action, we can create something to show the world there are enough women, we need a lot more. And that means we need to take everyone with us. And the other thing, the last thing I wanted to say is, it has to represent everyone. So how you take people with you is show a doctor, and I'll give you a fantastic example. There is a doctor, her name is Nemes here in Germany. She just left, she's a cardiologist. She just left her life as a doctor in the hospital to create a startup using AI to help people with heart disease. And wow, she's not a technology person per se, right? But she's getting a lot of prizes and accolades, and she's incorporating a company, but she's a heart doctor. And she decided, I want to be part of this, and I will do something to create, and you know, it's very inspiring to see. So we need to see these examples all the time. So many people, and also women, who take the courage to do new things, right?
You know, I love this because in our community, and one of our leaders in our management team, we have a doctor. She works on the is epidemiologist. What is in English, Paula?
Yeah,
epidemiologist.
Yeah, that one. And I would love that we can connect this lady from Germany, now our lady. Her name is Monica, because I think she is wonderful, and I think she can also help us. In our community, we have a lot of doctors, so
awesome. Let's
yes.
connect them, totally. But we have philosophers, we have anthropologists. So Alec, who is researching AI from an anthropologist point of view, because there are so many cultural aspects and ethical aspects. Reed Blackman in New York is one of the first Miss AI. He's a guy. And I asked him, do you want to be a Miss AI? He said, are you crazy? I don't think he said that. But how can I be a Miss AI? He's a married guy, right? So I thought, well, yeah. But then he said, I love it. And that's exactly the message we want to give, is that everyone can be Miss AI, right? And it doesn't matter. You can call yourself Mr. AI if you want, or whatever you want to call yourself, but just participate and see what application could be in your domain. And I'm using this famous example, you know, today a lot of the women are doing cashier jobs in supermarkets, right? These jobs over time will change completely. People will do more and more automatic. You see this in the United States, you see this in many countries in Europe.
Holland as well, you train yourself now.
Totally, right? And so how do we help people understand what's the new skills and how they can make sense of this so that it benefits them, humans? And you're right, I mean, it benefits companies right now, particularly big companies make money with it, some of them more than others, but it should, at the end of the day, also the big companies, all they want to do, if you look at what Facebook says, this is an AI company, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Salesforce are all AI companies, right? By definition, but all say we are working for the greater people impact. We want to empower people. Some of them want to empower people to have access to information. That's Google. Others want to empower people to have to really connect the world. You know, Microsoft wants to empower people to be the best of themselves by being productive, by having the right tools. And so that's why I think everyone can contribute.
Well,
in that matter, I would love to add something that I was thinking while you were telling us this, is that you are like at the top of the mountain, and we are here in Latin America working the base, you know, because a lot of people, as I referred at the beginning, people who don't know technology are afraid of stepping in regarding issues that they mentally believe in. So I think we need to really start creating a culture of all the tech things that people need to know, need to reach, need to get acquaintance to. And that's our work in Empoderate, Tú Puedes. Is we are going for those people who don't know anything about technology, and they need to start step one, then step two, and then begin to understand everything you're saying today. So this is very exciting for us to have someone like you today, because maybe we can start how do you say permear?
Yeah.
Evangelize.
Yeah, evangelize all our team, and especially Latin American people who are not familiarized with technology. And I've heard things that you would laugh, like, I'm so afraid to upload a photo of my face. No, people, yeah, we're starting from this point. So I am so excited to hear, because I am used to work with artificial intelligence, but not everybody. So we are building a culture here, and we would love you to be part of it, because we are beginning to be a lot of women and men involved in this.
Love it. This is amazing. And your movement is so inspiring, so much needed. And I think we need to combine forces, especially with these new technologies. First of all, lifelong learning. Yeah, that's what everyone needs to focus on. I think it's easier for the younger generations to understand that they will learn for the rest of their lives. So learn, that's number one. And you can provide amazing tools like this one, for example, programs to help people learn. People can also browse online. There are so many different resources, you know, where they can start understanding. And also, I want to make sure everyone understands this is not just about technology, because artificial intelligence, you have a technology aspect, right? So you can be computer programmer, you can be, you know, a data scientist, this very much famous job these days, right? You can be a hardware engineer who is doing robots, right? But you can be someone in business. You can be in marketing and see what type of automation tools powered by AI, powered by data science you could use. Or you can be an artist. I can show you a number of artists that decided to move their art into the digital space, and they are using algorithms and these GAN networks to create amazing art that you can watch on your monitor, on your computer, right? Or you can also be, for example, I think I had a discussion in one of these formats where I was thinking, like, how will religion change with the adoption of digital tools? Like, do we even have an app for, you know, people may, you know, okay, so you're confined at home because of COVID and you can't go to church, but you'd like to go to the synagogue or wherever you go, but you'd like to, and you can't. So I don't know yet. See, I need to research on that. But is there an app where you can, or is there a live session that you can have with your confessioner online, right? Those are big questions.
I've known
Yeah, well,
a lot of people in church that have done this massive live masses, the mass, and
but
they are in contact with people through Facebook Lives. I've
Yeah,
seen
exactly.
some.
They
I
go.
don't
They
know if
go
there's
with,
an app actually, but it is.
that's
okay.
it. Where there could be an app with recommendations or things like, you know, how do I cope with tough times? So I can see my family. I can see, you know, somebody, a beloved one that might be in hospital. I need to confess something to someone. So this is why it's so important what you do, because it really touches, like you said, the basis. But how do we get started, right? And I want to say we get started as children. We need to start at school, at elementary school. There are amazing programs that some companies are offering, like hackathons, for example, where you start to learn how to put things together, how to program small pieces of software or hardware. So these are really great, but we need to do more of all of this, and especially in the Latin American society, there will be a lot more focus also from the companies to do it.
Nancy, I want to ask you a very important question because time is flying and I know you have to run to another meeting. We started thinking about starting an incubator inside our foundation, and we need access to brains. We need access to people like yourself and the people who are part of your organization. Would you allow us that we can use some of them to help these young talents? My dream is to have one or two small companies born out of this foundation, that they could become something big in the future. And we're trying to work with the multinationals and people like yourselves to give us the access to the right talent. I mean, we lack a lot of talent in this area in Latin America, and we want to help also the digital divide people. You know, there is where empathy comes along. This is where empathy and artificial intelligence for me is leadership. You know, it's not forgetting the little ones and have everybody moving forward. You know, when you as a team moves, you cannot forget the less fortunate. So we also need to do that. So what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, no, this sounds like a great idea. So in our network, we have deep tech experts, all the people that we have in our network, about 115 who are, I know every single one of them, I handpicked them based on their expertise in AI, right? But they are very different. So they're not just tech people, as I said, they are business people, they are philosophers for the ethical discussion, all that stuff. But I would say, if you need talent, of course, we do have a lot of partners. And I'll give you just one example. For example, We Are Developers is a company in Austria who is doing the largest developer conference in the area, gathering every year thousands of people. And one of the things they do is they also have a great talent pool. And it would be amazing to speak with these people, and I can connect you, of course, so we can do it together. And the founder of We Are Developers, Ben Rushin, hi Ben, my friend and partner in this AI, is the founder of We Are Developers, and he can definitely give you ideas on how to generate talent, because that's, of course, the biggest problem for everyone, not just for Latin America, for all of us. So that's one aspect for the talent. And then, of course, putting our heads together and our resources together, we can only collaborate. There is no other way in AI. And co-create.
And we are having a unit, we call it chapters, Empodérate, Tú Puedes in Germany, who's taking care of DACH. So it's Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. So those people are, you guys are all nice, and you guys are also welcome to join us in our, we just starting in Germany and in Switzerland and Austria, but it is very, it is really artificial intelligence is cool, is empowerment, is leaderships, is empathy, and it is Nancy Nemes. So thank you, Nancy.
No, I'm just, thank you. You're so nice and so wonderful and amazing. I'm like nobody really in this big scheme of things, but every single one of us in our small way of doing things, you know, if you look at the big scheme of things, have a contribution. I want to just mention somebody else. A good friend of mine is running in Germany a very large conference for data science. She has an amazing pool of data scientists. Of course, events people right now are rethinking the way they do events in this new world, but her conference is called Data Natives. It tells you a lot, and Elena Pugia, she's from Greece. And so it tells you a lot about how important it is to please involve youth, involve the data natives, involve the digital natives, and empower them, and have them part of our team. I think we need them in the team to tell us, this is what we care about, this is how we see digitalization. By the way, the UN has a fantastic program for that with young people. I can send it to you, Adriana. We should connect.
Yes, please. Wonderful, because this is part of what we're trying to create, this incubator with young talent. You know, we want to help. I mean, we are the fortunate people. We've been getting so much out of the IT telecoms industry. Now it is our time to give back to society, and this is what we and Empodérate and you with your Human Eyes and Mrs. AI are doing. So I know you have to run. So just the last word. What is your motto for AI?
I love this question. I don't have a motto, really. I love this question. It sounds familiar though. So my motto for AI is to empower people.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence to empower people. So it's really for all of us. And we make the best out of it.
Empodérate, tú puedes is empower people. Empodérate means empower, and Empodérate, tú puedes, you can. So I love that, because it feels like we are in the same ecosystem. So thank you so much for being here, to making time. So Paula, do you want to just close it, please?
Yes, Nancy, it's been a pleasure. It's been such an interesting conversation. I think a lot of people will get a benefit of all this you have shared with us today. Thank you so much for your kindness, and we'll stay in contact. And para todos aquellos que nos siguieron, that's Nancy's book.
That's her book, and I am the lucky person who got the first one signed by Nancy, Mrs. AI. So I was so happy. So thank you, Nancy. It's a
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I hope a lot of people will have the opportunity to purchase it. So
yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I'm deeply impressed by what you do, both Paula, Adriana. You're building something very important for the humanity. And I love your focus on Latin America. That's very big because I see a lot of things happening in the US, in Europe, of course, in Asia, in China, in Africa, by the way. We can also talk about that. I haven't seen that much, and I wasn't touching yet Latin America, which I think is hugely important, and I want to be part of it. So thank you for having me.
So be very welcome. Muchas
You're
gracias
very
a
welcome.
todos.
All your team with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Gracias.
Bye.
Acompáñenos en nuestra próxima Expert View y nos vemos la siguiente. Que tengan un poderoso día. Hasta luego.
Hasta
Chao,
luego.
chao.
Tú puedes. Tú puedes. Hasta luego.
Gracias.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.